Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to In the Studio, powered by 100tb.com.
And apparently StarLadder.
And StarLadder. Yeah, look at this additional branding they're getting here. We've got all sorts of interesting stuff happening today. There's no David on In the Studio. This is actually this is new, Brian.
It's a David-free zone in the house right now.
Not for long, though. LD returns.
He's currently on his way. He's actually at the airport.
He's in an airport talking to us on Skype right now because that man's dedicated. He's watching In the Studio from a mobile device. What a man. What a man indeed.
Gods has been exiled to Australia for an indefinite period of time.
We kicked him out. We said Enchantress or get out. So he opted to go back to the homeland. But we have an interesting episode. We're going to make do today, guys, and luckily there's a lot to talk about. The Techies patch has been not released, but it's on the test realm, so we have some stuff to talk about. And we've got Cyborgmatt who will be joining us, not as an interview, but really as a co-host. Right. But we do have to get something out of the way, guys. Remember, if you're looking for infrastructure services or dedicated server hosting, you better check out 100tb.com. They offer great products at great prices, and they make this show possible. So they certainly appreciate your support.
Just generally cool people.
And they are really cool people. We had their rep was here for the summit, and he's a fun guy. They're a company that is really into esports and really into Dota, so you should be really into
It's actually nice because, okay, this is going to sound really sellouty, but generally when you work with a company, sometimes you're like, we have to do this because, you're a company and they give us money. But I actually like 100tb.
Yeah,
it's nice.
I like talking to our contact. He's a fun guy.
It's actually fun. And they actually want to make sure that esports does well. So
and he actually likes talking to us about Dota, too. It's not all business. Sometimes he'll ask us for advice about how to play Batrider and various other things. It's fun. I like it. It's he's into good stuff. So, all right, we've got Cyborgmatt on the line. Mr. Matt, are you here with us, buddy?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, sir. How are you? We've got a great picture of you, the Ice Frog himself.
I'm a little tired. I did the big patch post on Friday night. It all hit the test coin then, so I didn't get much sleep. But I don't mind popping in, helping you guys out.
I don't think you've been getting much sleep at all over the last couple of weeks. You did some major work on StarLadder's compendium. I would say it's probably the best non-Valve compendium I've seen. It was pretty good. I mean, even you got a post on Dota subreddit about how awesome your compendium was. So apparently it was legit. I liked it. So been putting in the long hours.
The compendium's a pain in the ass, but I love those guys and wanted to give them a hand. So I think it turned out pretty well. Yeah,
there's some changes too. I might be getting ahead of myself a bit, but in the patch, there's some compendium scripts that were added or something. Is that going to make your job easier?
There's some stuff I recommended to them, and they've added in some more cool stuff. So
gotcha.
It's pretty cool.
Very cool. So we're going to start with some news, current events, and then we're going to move into a whole discussion dedicated to patch notes and what have you. Kind of later on the Matt's expertise. So Matt, first thing I want to ask you about though is your leave of absence from Dota. You mentioned, I guess publicly, that you were going to take a break from Dota. When is that starting? Because you seem to be still knee deep in the dotes.
That's a good question. It's supposed to be September, but we'll see. Maybe after I'm definitely going away, so it'll be during September. I might be around for the first week, but then I'll probably disappear for a bit.
All right.
Lucky us. We get him right before he disappears. This is good.
Yeah, this isn't like a Lord of the Rings thing where you're going to be going away for a very long time and you don't know if you ever shall return. Is it?
Oh.
Okay.
No, I don't have a magic ring if that's what you're asking. No, it's basically...
Matt's writing his life compendium in the back.
No, I've been doing this for... I haven't had a proper holiday in like 3 or 4 years.
Oh, gosh.
And
we know about lack of proper holidays here.
After all the events this year and everything, I was feeling a bit burnt out. So, when you're feeling a bit burnt out, it's probably better to take a break than,
Yeah.
Then, but I'm going to come back. I'm not gone. I'm not dying off. I'm not disappearing. I know people will go like, "Oh shit, what's happening?" It's actually, I actually just timed this over when Techies came out, so I don't have to put up with that.
That's actually very smart. Very smart.
And it seems like most people that are this knee-deep into esports, whether it's Dota or anything else, that it sounds like a vacation is awesome, and then once you go on vacation for like 2 weeks, you realize how boring real life is without video games. And you just want to come back and do nothing but write articles.
Or you play other video games. When I had my TI break, I just played out the entire Dragon Age franchise in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. I just fiended Dota. That's all I did. I did a couple of those 25 games in 40 hours kind of
I tried to get better at Dota. It didn't work.
Yeah. What is your MMR, Matt? Do you actually play Dota?
Don't ask a man his MMR.
Is that too far? Is that too
No,
far?
you can ask what
it's like, so how many women have you slept with? Can we compare?
I play more party than anything, but my solo MMR is like 4.6k or something.
Oh, damn.
That's not bad. That's pretty
damn,
solid.
Give an LD a run for his money.
Yeah.
I know
it's not higher than my party MMR because that just keeps going down. But then that's what happens when you QE.
I've seen some of the people you stack with, so I can understand that. You're losing like 50 MMR a pop.
Yeah, it's risky.
Yeah.
Win 5, lose 50. It's risky.
that's seriously. Whoa. So all right, let's talk about some current events here, guys. WEC. It seems like they just can't get off to the right foot here. They've been having all sorts of issues, and they had to cancel their qualifiers. And now Team Secret, they get their visas denied. So luckily, they have a good replacement. Navi EU is here to save the day, and they'll be playing at WEC, and that's coming up really soon. That is September 5th through 7th, I think.
Yeah, it's really short.
Yeah.
And that's the it's going to be in China. That is the single elimination tournament, right? So it's going to be in and out, and some of these teams are going to have to run off pretty fast.
So right now the roster is Newbie, Cloud9, Navi, EG, LGD, LGD C-Deck, HGT, and Titan.
I'm really excited about seeing some of these new squads. Is Titan going to be with Mushi? Is that going to be the Mushi Titan, or is it going to be without Mushi Titan?
You know, that's a really good question, Brian.
No place for Mushi has been confirmed yet, but it would be nice to see him on there.
Because I know Mushi played with that 4 group.
Who was
in
he
a tournament last night?
Place of?
I believe it was like a show match.
Okay.
I believe he was replacing Yamate.
Oh, okay.
Because it's orange. They're basically orange again from TI3.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know in the qualifier they were playing with Yamate with their original roster. That was one of the few teams. Them and Navi US were the 2 teams that we said didn't have a roster change, but apparently that's not the case anymore.
I know that's not confirmed, but it's been heavily speculated that Mushi has played with the 4 in like a show match game.
And honestly, I think if it wasn't for that team, because Mushi loves SEA.
Right.
And if obviously this is home, like if it wasn't for that team, I think Mushi would have retired this year. With the rest of everyone else that retired from DK, so I think if he has an opportunity to join there, then it should be good.
Mushi's one of the older players, right? Is he up there? Is he like 27?
Well, you say old with these players, but he
27's old for a player.
You need to be pretty young to be playing a top tier caliber, like in a game like Dora, I imagine.
No, Mushi's only 23.
Mushi's young. Wow,
he's only 23.
19. He's younger than I am. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize. I was thinking he was older too. He's no Momoya. MMY, he's not even listed on Wikipedia.
He's so old they don't know what his birthday is.
But I'm pretty sure MMY is like 29, 30, right? And he's still going. He didn't retire this year.
It's not that. I mean, they have really.
He's
old.
with LGD now.
Brett Favre came back from retirement like 3 times, dude. You can play when you're old. You're just not as good.
It's also that a lot of them retired to make a family and stuff like that.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that's true. It is a hectic lifestyle that you get burned out from it pretty quick.
It's what you can be a player and you can have things be really hectic, or you can retire. Like most of these guys retired into a Dota position where they can still do the game they love, get paid reasonably well, but be a lot less hectic and not have to deal with the constant like expectations to perform in a competitive aspect.
Yeah,
because that can be a huge strain. Like constantly having to worry about your paycheck depending on your performance can be tough. Whereas you can just sit back and cast or sit back and coach. And sure, your performance is important, but that's more of like a yearly checkup instead of every single tournament you go to.
Yeah.
You either win or you don't get paid.
It's more of a salary position versus not that the players don't have salaries.
So it's more stable when you have a family. Because what happens if you have a family, you decide you're going to play Dota, and then your team does awful for the entire year, and you win like $20,000 in prize pool. Like,
better hope your wife is bringing in the bucks.
Exactly. It can be kind of tough. So I can understand some of these players wanting to make the change into something a bit more stable.
Yeah.
And I mean in Eastern Dota though, the scene's a bit more stable in terms of salary and stuff.
It's definitely getting there. It's definitely getting there.
The contracts are a lot smarter over there than they are over here.
That's true. It is China, right? Because some of these players, when they're getting traded,
they have play scouts in place with the the Association of Esports and everything, looking after them.
Matt, I don't know if you caught the last episode we did, but we talked about WPC and some of the issues that they've been having with paying out prize pools. And do you have any insight into that? Has that come up in your journalistic activities?
Well, from what I hear, that company's fucked.
Which one, WPC or Ace, or is it? I actually don't understand.
Like, they all. It's pretty much anyone who was any decent person who was working there has now jumped ship to one of the newer organizations, or like Imba TV or something like that. And what's left is like, I think basically that they're gonna go under, and I don't know what happens for the future. Like DK never got paid for the first season,
right?
Which is a lot of money.
Yeah, WPC was huge. It was one of the more. It had.
It was the highest. It was the highest Eastern prize pool, if I remember correctly, at the time.
Yeah. It was over 100,000. I know that, but I don't remember exactly what it was.
I mean, WPC season 2 was 160,000 USD for first place.
Yeah.
So I can only
pretty
imagine.
big. And their official statement was that they've paid out the money, but it's stuck in limbo with some sort of a tax issue, which sounds suspect to me.
So basically that's the answer they gave me when I was like, because like, well, behind the scenes, like, I also help out the tournaments behind the scenes, behind closed doors. And well, it's mainly helping the teams because there are still some tournaments out there who don't pay up. So it's a case of, you know, I make sure teams are still getting paid behind the scenes and stuff like that. I tend to help out there. And when looking into that situation, it was a case of they were blaming the teams and the teams were blaming them. They wanted some very specific tax forms they wanted invoicing very specifically. It all seemed rather dodgy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that is a little bit suspect, but we'll see. I know that when Kelly was tweeting that they told her that Alliance will be reimbursed and paid for the stuff in Season 2 by the end of August, and it's August 31st, so I haven't heard an update on that front, but I reckon if they don't get paid, we'll see it on Twitter. Kelly likes to tweet.
That's the problem when the company goes under, though, is it's going to be hard for
who are you going to collect from?
A Swedish organization to collect from a Chinese organization that has went under.
Yeah, good luck.
It's hard to do anything with a Chinese organization, really.
Right.
Yeah. Well, speaking of China, we've got I-League. That's next up on the docket here, and they had to reschedule their LAN finals.
God.
More issues. There was they wanted to dodge the WEC.
It was
conflict.
How can you start running qualifiers in August when the international is in July? It's so stupid.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like you got to a stage where it's like, who the hell is even going to sign up for your tournament? And
right.
It's you have to give the players a break for them because of all the roster shuffles. You can't just like say, "Hey guys, qualifiers in August." I was helping the teams with this one as well, and there was a lot of big teams who were like, "We will attend, but you cannot announce our rosters because we still have sponsor issues to sort out with our old teams."
Team Tinker,
and
Secret
then all
Team,
of a sudden,
like
there was all the big teams were going to be there, and all of a sudden, the tournament organizer said to us basically, "Oh, don't worry, guys, come back for Season 2." And then just cut communication off with all of us. Right. There was myself. There was Charlie. There was a lot of people behind the scenes trying to get big teams there to put the connection together. They just kind of they fucked all the Western teams over.
I feel like what they're going to need to do is the teams are just going to have to come together and be like, hey, for a period of X amount of time after the international next year, we're not going to play a tournament. Don't even ask. If you want to get amateur teams, sure.
Yeah.
But it's going to be like. The major teams go, well, for a month and a half, we're not playing tournaments. Don't ask. Don't schedule. If you
that's
want
the feedback we gave. That's the feedback we gave.
Right.
But I mean, there could have been some really big, awesome teams there, but they just weren't willing to work with the Western teams. Like they weren't willing to give them a chance.
Well, thankfully, we'll have a lot of good LAN tournaments throughout this year.
Well, but so I-League is still happening though, and now they have this really odd mix of teams. It's LGD CDEC, Invictus Gaming, Old Boys. I'm not sure who Old Boys is. I have no idea. Team DK. What is this list that I have?
Isn't it?
Is
DK,
that Tong Fu?
I'd like to see how DK is going to play.
Yeah, what is this list that I have?
Old Boys
this must be outdated.
Old Boys is the Tong Fu with like.
Old Boys Tong Fu.
Okay.
Yeah, with
all in my list,
like
I have.
That's 820's team. That's 820's new team, right?
Okay, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have DK on here. I don't know who the hell that's going to be now.
Well, they're going to have to get replaced. Like this is the problem. You announce a tournament, give direct invites, and then the team doesn't exist like a month later.
So Vici Gaming, and they have that new roster, but then there's Power Rangers, Virtus Pro, and Team Rave.
So it's like
what an interesting mix of teams.
It's like the middle of the pack StarLadder teams going to China to fight the elite Chinese teams that are still kind of shuffling. What a tournament.
They're Tong Fu now, and it's basically Zhao, YYF, DD, 820, Long DD.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
funny if they win.
They are
all
Old
the
Boys.
Retired guys win.
Like,
that'd be funny.
I like the name. I hope they have like the old that is a Korean flick, right? The original Old Boy, the film.
No, I'm not sure.
I know it got remade by.
I'm not
Spike,
up on my Korean films, Brian. I'm sorry.
I couldn't remember.
I'm excited for Power Rangers.
Good action
we finally get to see Power Rangers on LAN in China. I mean, come on, forget about it. This is gonna be awesome.
It's really disappointing because I-League is now over $300,000, and it just seems like a waste.
Dude, what happens if Power Rangers goes in and destroys and wins $300,000?
Oh, I'd love that. I'd absolutely love that.
That would be crazy.
Okay. See, I'm kind of excited for this because we're gonna have so many. Honestly, we might get tired of seeing the same 10 elite teams playing each other over the next year of Dota because of how many big LANs are being scheduled already.
That's a good point.
So even though it is kind of a shame that as big of a tournament prize pool it is and the way it was scheduled and the way it was set up is kind of a shame because it was, instead of it being on purpose, let's get smaller teams in, it kind of just happened because of incompetence.
Yeah.
So But it's going to be interesting to see these teams come together and have a chance to win a lot of money when these teams, Power Rangers,
they don't have a full roster right now.
Power Rangers have the largest they've ever won from a tournament is
like
$6,784.
So
as an organization.
I think what's important as well for Power Rangers is that they lost F&G. If you've just seen some of the Navi games since their new roster, you can see how much F&G brings to them.
Yeah, I mean, he's been looking really good on Navi. They are just on fire. I mean, they got wrecked by Cloud9 at the end of Star Ladder today, but
and
aside from that,
Scandal left too, so they're just they only have Moonlight, Chezercat, and J4.
Yeah, I forget who their stand-ins that they've been running. We Just Zik is one of them.
We Just Zik is okay.
I think their fifth they've been rotating.
He's been around for a while.
He's been playing. He's been a consistent stand-in, and then their fifth is sort of whoever they can find that fits their schedule. But
interesting.
Yeah, I-League, it'll be interesting. We've got about a month until the LAN happens, but who knows? At this point,
I'm so glad they changed the schedule though. They're going to have 2 lines on the same day, and then we're like, well, you guys can travel between the venues, can't you? And it's like, no.
It was almost like it was like a standoff. I really think they were like it was like a Mexican standoff. They were like holding guns at each other's prize pools.
Like, no, you reschedule. No, you reschedule.
I understand it's very hard. Once you have a venue locked in, it's going to do a lot of damage if you have to switch.
I understand. I mean, we all understand that because of how Valve had their issues with international. It's like, hey guys, guess what? It's in July. We can't help it. Venue issues.
Yeah, so, I remember like a lot of people gave ESL flack for Frankfurt, but I mean their original booking was mid-international, and that was only because they got told really late.
Yeah.
So not only did they have to then pay to reschedule the venue, but they then also got bombarded by the community for being the guys right before the international, and like, why are you guys doing this? What are you doing? It's like, well, no, that wasn't the case. Not the case at all.
Yeah, it gets tricky when you have to book stuff that far out. I mean, that was part of the issue with MLG. They got squished out, and luckily for MLG's sake, they have other games and they can still run their event, but they had to pull the plug on their whole Dota and their big 100K promise, and now little tarnished, but who knows? Maybe they'll come back in Dota. We'll see.
Said they're interested in coming back.
Have you seen Dota numbers, Brian? Of course they're interested.
I thought since that happened, it just seemed like they were really quiet on Dota. They haven't said nothing. I mean, they're very busy with
their COD stuff has gone really well recently.
They've become like the Kespa of COD almost. They're like the arbitrators
like
of the entire scene.
There's like an amateur draft where organizations come in and draft amateur players, and that's how you get into teams.
They control the rules on roster changing and stuff like that. Kind of like it's kind of very similar to how Riot positioned themselves over League of Legends and the contracts of the players. It's very similar, reminiscent to that.
It's like MLG is just becoming like Major League COD, and it's like strictly like almost the viewer base is almost like 80% American. Like
America really deserves more lands, honestly, and I hope. And Columbus was so fun.
And maybe Modern Warfare is good. I've seen isn't that the newest one? I've heard.
I don't know. I can't.
We could play. These games can run side by side. You just you just get a big venue, run these 2 side by side. You know, everyone's happy.
Right.
I'm sure MLG want to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's press forward here. I want to talk about Twitch getting bought by Amazon. It seems like it seems like old news now, but it happened in between our shows.
It was great.
But what the crazy part is, it seemed like everyone was under the impression that Google had already bought Twitch.
Because
that it was a done
journalists said it was already done. They said confirmed. Like there was a.
It was pretty, from a journalist's point of view, it was pretty embarrassing. Like.
Yeah, I mean, there was a Wall Street Journal article about it. Very credible sources.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, it was Amazon that actually bought Twitch. Matt, I want your take on this. Is there a key difference between Amazon and Google in terms of buying Twitch?
I think in terms of companies who are going to invest in you, like Google has a track record of investing things and then making it disappear, like you know, a couple of years later if it didn't work out. Amazon only tend to invest in stuff they want to really, you know, take care of and long-term scale. And this isn't just from the company's side. This will be from Twitch's side. They would have sat down and said, right, what is going to happen if we go with Google? What is going to happen if we go with Amazon?
Right.
They obviously spent enough time, you know, thinking about it, planning ahead, and seeing what they can get, and they decided to go with Amazon. Like, so it's I think it's good because I think if you look at everyone's initial reaction, it was, oh, I'm so happy it's not Google, which is kind of weird to be a reaction of like a massive takeover. Like
I think there's been a lot of like Google has disenfranchised themselves with a lot of younger people as of
I think
late.
Everybody was really afraid of Google Plus becoming the new Twitch chat, which would have been disastrous, I think, in terms of community outcry.
Join a Twitch hangout.
A company like Twitch would never let themselves be taken over and then lose their control, like you know, and then have that happen to them. It's just those guys are too smart to let that happen.
Yeah. The thing I'm most excited about, and I think Twitch might have taken this into play. I'm not sure if they did or not. Is it's going to be a lot better for competition's sake. So it went from the only other really big website streaming, platform
YouTube
is
Live.
YouTube and Twitch. And YouTube Live is
give Hitbox a little bit of credit.
Well, I'm talking like in terms of being like accepted and like really popular. If you take YouTube and Twitch and kind of make them into a similar platform, that's like a conglomerate that's going to destroy anything in its way.
Yeah.
So they're obviously the two biggest players in the pool.
Yeah.
So now there's actually competition between there's actually competition between YouTube and Google and Twitch now, which I think is good because competition usually tends to drive innovation.
And Amazon does have a completely different approach than what Google does, sort of like what you were mentioning, Matt. The company Zappos.com, known for selling shoes online, they were bought out by Amazon, and part of that buyout deal was maintaining their own identity. And what they do is now utilize the shipping and all the sort of optimization from Amazon.
I'm pretty sure that was a big sell point for Twitch, is that they wanted they're going to be Twitch.
You still keep your staff, your structure, you're a subsidiary, not
Justin TV became Twitch like 6 months ago. So they're really 6
months ago. What are you talking about?
Well, okay, it was Justin TV.
Way longer.
Well, no, Justin TV and Twitch were separate, and it was still like Twitch was under Justin TV. And about 6 months
Justin TV went when they closed shop on
before they closed shop on Justin TV, their company just changed to being Twitch, because it used to be Twitch under like a subsidiary of Justin
I see
TV.
What you're saying. Yeah,
and they said, well, it's weird that the subsidiary is now 5 times as big as the original company, so let's change the name.
Okay.
So they're really pushing the Twitch brand, and I think it's a good brand. So
I think
it's smart.
Undoubtedly, it's a good brand.
And in terms of infrastructure, obviously Amazon have the S3 program and server deployment for others. I mean, so does Google, but like Amazon's used to deploying these servers to consumers. So I imagine Twitch is going to piggyback on those services basically.
That'd be amazing.
And things should get more stable from here on out.
Do you think we'll see a takeover of Amazon affiliate links? Get rid of all those Amazon wish lists and donation links, and it's going to be all about the affiliates?
I don't know. There's loads of crazy ads. I can easily see there being like some bonus for Amazon Prime members, or like they even talked about. They did like a live stream.
Yeah.
They did a live stream with the head of Twitch and someone from Amazon, and they talked about like integrating ideas like that. But imagine like you're watching, say, like Sing Sing. And then you see Sing Sing is using this gear, and then you just have links to Amazon. It just takes you to the page where you can buy his keyboard, and
there's a lot of potential there. I mean, we're an Amazon. We have multiple Amazon Prime accounts at our house, so if we could get any sort of a bonus there, I mean, we're pretty.
If you're sponsored by someone, you can put the Amazon link to the. You could, like somehow have it in stream of like your items and what you use.
Now we're really cooking, getting innovative here.
Sing Sing finally sponsored by like a sex toy distributor.
It's all going to be down to Twitch, like how much they want to utilize from them. I mean, they may just want to stay completely independent and have no links there whatsoever. I mean, it's up to them at the end of the day.
The thing is, I think what people are worried about with Google is that Google's take on like trademark stuff is oftentimes just to remove it, kind of scorched earth policy, whereas Amazon might come up with something unique to try to use it as advertising in a way that is like good. Like instead of getting rid of live music being played, it might instead show you a link to where you can purchase the song on Amazon or something. So there's been no like key that's actually going to happen, but it seems like that's more possible.
Still pretty early on in
Amazon,
the game, so the options are semi-limitless.
Yeah. We will see.
It'll be interesting. I want to talk about the battle arena now. We need to make mention of this disastrous debacle that was the first tournament after TI4. Matt, I would ask you if you watched it, but I think the answer is a resounding no, because
no one did.
Did anyone watch it?
I don't think so, unless you watched the VODs.
They disabled game spectators, and even after they
knew
really?
You couldn't watch in game either?
Yeah, they disabled in-game spectators, even after they knew there was issues. So I don't know. It was kind of you have to be ready when you have big caliber teams. You have to be ready to at least handle an influx of users on both English and Russian side.
For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, it was called the Megaphon Battle Arena, and it was sponsored by SeeMePlay.ru. It's a Russian streaming platform, and they were trying to pioneer their platform, kind of premiere it here. The issue is I don't think they were ready for the amount of turnout. At the stream, I think it broke 100K viewers or something, and it crumbled. First day,
First day you had Na'Vi Virtus Pro, like brand new. It was like
with brand new
rosters. It was like the
Yeah,
debut of Navi's new roster.
Everybody wanted to see it,
and they couldn't even start. They couldn't even start the stream. I think the first day, and they streamed on Twitch.
It was a total debacle, and then they went to Twitch. Toby said, "Okay, we're going to make this happen. We're at least going to get these games out."
Which props for them doing, because honestly, they could have just been like,
well,
as our sponsor, we're going to stick with them no matter what. We'll delay. But instead, they kind of went rogue and just said, we're streaming on Twitch anyway.
Yeah. And then the next day was the grand finals, and it wasn't much better. They streamed it on the See Me Play, but I tried to watch it, and on the lowest quality, it's still stuttering and buffering and what have you.
It's almost funnier that it was
and also
See Me Play.
The fact that EG and C9 pulled out at the last minute.
Minute, yeah.
I heard rumors that was an intentional ploy, that they signed up and that they were owed money of some sorts, and then they kind of backed out at the very last second as kind of a...
If an organization owed you money, why not play them along? If they're going to play you along, it's just,
I don't know if that's true.
Well, I don't know the people behind Megaphon Battle Arena. So
but I guess the issue is that they owe money from past tournaments that haven't been paid, and that was why the teams dropped out.
Potentially.
I think that was the public reason.
I mean, no reason was publicly given.
No reason.
Oh, no? I thought I saw that on Twitter.
No reason. No,
didn't PPD tweet something
tweeted that, but he didn't link it to See Me Play.
Oh, okay.
He said it's hard to get excited about tournaments when I haven't gotten paid for their previous version yet.
I see.
And then they dropped out like the next day. So it's inferred but not proven or official.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah,
but
unfortunately.
It's pretty much implied. I mean,
So Team Tinker, they were they basically sent Team Tinker an email like, 3 hours before the tournament, 6 hours before the tournament's going to start. Hey, you guys want to have a chance to win 15 grand? Maybe just play 2 best of 3s? And they're like, yeah, sure, okay.
Sure, we got a revolving door of 7 players as long as those all can play.
Yeah, 36 hours later, Team Tinker walks away $10,000 richer. Or, maybe.
Well, if they get paid.
Yeah. So it was interesting. I actually didn't watch the games. I never went back and watched the VODs because it was just the whole experience was ruined for many of you who are out there.
Yeah,
it's just embarrassing. I mean, it's probably like everything just going wrong for you.
Yeah, it's really bad. And now who knows what's going to happen with that platform. But we do have some more roster shuffles to talk about. The big one is in China. In the last episode, we talked about Ace set the date. The 26th is when you have to have your roster set. So we have all sorts
I like that.
Yeah, I like it too.
One
but
of the few things that Ace has done that I approve of.
Yeah. But we have some interesting teams here. We've got IG, which is now Luo, Ferrari 430, June, Chuan, and Chisbug.
My boy Chisbug.
Chisbug, yeah. We've got Vici. Sorry, Matt?
I said Chisbug is back.
Yeah. Chisbug is back. So we've got Vici, who is Black, Super, Ice, FY, and Fenrir. Holy shit.
Absolute fan service team, and they're going to be good, though, I think.
I'm really excited to see how Black performs with that team.
Okay, finally Black has now the best support duo in the world.
Yeah.
I've said that for the last year. I agree, I think it thankfully I said it a year ago, and it's just proven itself with how good FY and Fenrir are. They're fantastic. So I don't see how this team could not perform well. Honestly.
I don't know.
Do you think we will see Ice go back to drafting?
Maybe. Who was Siler was largely drafting. I mean, it was between Siler and ROTK drafting for Vici in the past, right? They kind of went back and forth.
Yeah.
I think ROTK was drafting at TI, but I've seen Siler draft. I think Siler was drafting at the Summit.
I guess Ice is a good bet. Yeah, I think he was. I think Ice is a good bet for who's going to draft, but it's hard to say.
It's hard to know.
Because
you never know. They might be like, hey, FY, give it a shot.
Well, he has experience from Zenith, so.
Yeah, he drafted for Zenith. Maybe we'll see some more no bans, no ban strats.
Yeah. So we've got LGD, and I either messed up my copy and pasting or what, but I have way too many people on this roster.
Yeah.
Anybody know what the LGD roster is? I have Sylar, Yao, Inflame, MMY, Faith.
I think that's those.
That's the 5. Then
those 5.
I had DDC, Lin, and In July in there. I don't know where the hell that came from.
Oh, okay.
They do have 8 players right now.
They
actually have 8 players. All right. I'm wow. I should have had more confidence in myself.
I think it's like they were trying to make some of those players into the LGDC deck team, and maybe didn't want to kick some of the players that were on the LGDC deck team because he was friends with them. I believe Molly posted something about that earlier today or yesterday.
Okay.
So I think some of those players were supposed to be part of the. So I guess kind of the like LGD int, except Chinese players.
Yeah. So we still don't know exactly what their their select 5-player roster is.
They have plenty to pick from. So
some mix of that.
Sylar, Yao. I mean, Sylar and Yao are kind of the main carries. I can't see Faith not being on the team. I also can't see MMY not being on the team.
Yeah, MMY has to be on there.
So the question is, what do they do with Lynn? Because I think Lynn had a decent show at TI. I think he's a decent player.
Yeah.
Inflame, who's from CIS, I think is an okay player. Same with DDC. He's been around for a while, but hasn't been fantastic as of late. So
yeah. And then we've got Newbie. They're now Hao, Moo, Rabbit, Banana, and Sansheng. So Rabbit joining the fray.
That's a good pickup.
Pretty interesting. That was the big one.
What was expensive pickup.
The $120,000 transfer fee. Is that right?
$130,000.
130. Wow.
To put that into perspective, they paid 50 grand. That's about $50,000 more than what they paid for Zhao 8 at the start of the year.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But in terms of the Chinese scene, a lot of the players and casters over there, they rate Rabbit as probably one of the best up and coming, if not the best player right now.
He's fantastic. Like he showed it at TI. Just being able to play whatever hero they needed. He could play Lifestealer if they needed a carry. He could play another carry if they needed something different. He would play Bat Rider. He would play mid sometimes if they needed him to go mid. Like he was just the absolute catch-all for the team. And now he'll probably be playing in the off-lane position, I assume, with Hal still on the team. He'll kind of take Zhao 8's place.
It's going to be interesting to see.
It's just a legendary Bat Rider. You just kind of ban it every game.
Yeah. Hearts Get Together is now ZSMJ, Kaka, Icy, Pretty Haw, and CYS.
Okay.
And then we've got old boys, Zhao, YYF, DD, 820, and Long DD, which we kind of talked about earlier.
Tong Fu,
yeah, now Tong Fu. And then DK, I just have a sad nobody with a sad face.
They might. I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe snatch some of those extra players from LGD and try to group a team together. We'll see.
I'm so glad I have that shirt that DK signed from the summit. I have a Twitch shirt with all the DK signatures. I feel like that's like that's a valuable piece of memorabilia there.
It's history.
Yeah, look at me go. So
in terms of DK, if we stick on those, it's like Mushy went back home. Obviously, Ice has gone to VG now.
Right.
Burning's actually he's still with DK, but he's not going to play for them. He's going to coach for them and help assist any roster decisions and stuff like that.
Right. And Lanham is done as well.
Coach. Yeah, I believe he's just retired and who knows what he's going to do. Start a family and live the dream. Who knows?
So out of those teams, Matt, who do you feel is the strongest?
Oh, it's so hard to say right now.
I really like Vici. I mean, I think Newbie is maybe the strongest, but I think Vici that's the team I'm going to keep my eye on.
I definitely think Newbie's still the strongest, but Vici has a lot of potential. I feel like they're the biggest question mark.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see how they perform.
Yeah. So there have been some other roster changes here. Solo is now the 5th for Empire. That makes their roster Mag, Always Want to Fly, Silent, Resolution, and Solo. So they've got a pretty strong roster now.
Solo, just to stay on that for a second, Solo has this dark cloud of the 322 scandal over his head, but that guy is a really talented player.
Yeah.
He's an extremely talented individual.
Wasn't he banned for life from something? Was it Star Ladder?
So he's not banned from anything anymore.
He's not banned for life from anything anymore.
I
think people realize that it's a bit of an over-exaggeration for $322.
Yeah.
It's like you learned your lesson. You were an idiot.
Don't do it again.
Don't do it again.
There you go.
So yeah, I think he's an extremely talented young player, and I think Empire will definitely benefit from having him. They'll definitely hurt from losing Van Score, but I think Empire will be they'll probably be a little bit better than they showed at TI, but I don't know. They had that streak in February of this year. Remember when they were just unbeatable? I don't know if they'll ever get to that level again, but
yeah, that was a weird streak. It didn't really last that long either.
It's their LAN performance that really hinders them.
Right.
I feel like they struggle a lot more online than it is online.
I feel like they really struggle when it comes to major international it seems like they're never really as prepared as other teams to deal with certain strategies and play styles.
And some of it is just getting that LAN experience and getting the jitters out and used to the high stress environment.
They're a pretty young team.
We have it's funny that Fnatic and Liquid feel a little late to the party here. We have official word that Big Daddy and Fly have been released from Fnatic, and Bulba.
The day they played for Team Secret, they were like, oh yeah, they're gone.
Yeah.
And Bulba and Koikba officially released from Liquid. Not really
Fnatic's
news, but
post, though, it was kind of more of a farewell piece, thanks for all your work. And it wasn't really these guys have gone. It was more of a case of thanks for your work, and we're enjoyed our time together.
Yeah.
S4 has not been officially released from Alliance though.
Nobody's been officially released.
Neither has
Alliance.
EGM.
Yeah, Alliance has been very quiet about what their plans are.
Both of those players are playing on those teams whose organizations.
You have to remember there's contracts in play, there's sponsors that have to be sorted out.
Yeah.
there's multiple reasons why they can't just announce changes straight off the bat.
And Alliance right now have been using Misery and Chessie, the Han player that has been talked up, and they've been actually looking very good. They've been on the same level. The only time I saw Chessie play and I was like, it wasn't really that great was his Invoker. There is no hero in Han that is remotely like Invoker, and that's one that he's not quite comfortable on yet. But outside of that, he's been looking very, very strong.
Yeah, I still think it's early to say. I still think it's way too early to say. But
I think one of the interesting parts about the whole Liquid thing is there was a byline in. Let me see if I can find the actual statement. But it basically said, "We can't afford these guys anymore." It was saying that another team had offered like Bulba and Koikva.
He Googles Liquid statement as if
that's
going to go to Dota right away.
I am not.
Look it up and we'll come back to it. I want to get your take on Team Stay Green, Matt, because they've now been picked up by Complexity. They're basically a Heroes of Newerth squad that is now playing Dota. Do you know these guys at all? Do you have any opinions?
Not as much as what other people would probably know them. It's a lot of people were expecting different announcement to come from Complexity, but after they put the YouTube video up, it was pretty. It's pretty with the logo and everything. People guessed it was Stay Green.
Yeah. Swindle Melons, Limp, Z-Freak, Riser, and Moon Meander. And worth reiterating again, Limp is actually Chessie's younger brother. So there's that interesting just little dynamic there.
Are there any other brothers in Dota right now?
Swindle Melons and Z-Freak are actually brothers as well. How about that?
That's incestuous.
And Riser, he's been around the Han scene for a while. I don't know what he's been up to recently. And we all know Moon Meander, for better or for worse. But he's been dreaming up a storm, so we'll see how
he has big talk. Let's see if he can deliver.
Right. Yeah, they haven't been looking that strong out of the gate.
I can't wait until they play Team Tinker for the first time.
Oh, God. They've played Union. Apparently, they lost to Union Gaming in 2 best-of-3s, and that's about the only data we have on them.
Another controversial team.
Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms. They've been up to some slimy activity. Have you found your statement, Brian? I want to hear about this.
The statement was said as such. Now I lost it. Okay, so if it was at all possible, I would have liked for them to continue on Liquid. However, the reality is that after a rough year, they have asked to be released through a buyout from another organization. So another organization is going to be buying out Koikva and Bulba. It looks like that has not been announced because they're still Team Tinker, and it appears as if it was just kind of to the point where Liquid couldn't afford these very much sought after talents.
So where's TC? Is he still flying the Liquid flag?
So the only person still on the Liquid roster right now is TC. However,
you see the StarCraft 2 team with 7 players. There are more Smash players and more Hearthstone players on Team Liquid right now than Dota players. For the first time in its history.
That's a sad reality right there. No. Wow. Well, we'll see what happens, how they build that team back up. But
it's going to be hard to say. I can't see them keeping TC right now, especially after he's been enjoying his time with Sneaky Nick's Assassins.
What if they pick up Sneaky Nick's Assassins?
That could be the case, but would Team Liquid pick up IX Mike and Fluff and stuff again?
They've been on decent terms with Fluff. I don't think there's ever been not Fluff, but Mike. I don't think Mike. Because Mike was never officially released from Liquid. It would
just be a very weird circle.
Mike was always kind of like kept on for Liquid for a while after.
Yeah. So what is that lineup now? It's Ush, Mike, Fluff, TC, and Way2. Is that the current Sna lineup?
And obviously, Way2's
there. They even got rid of Sna, so now it's the Sneaky Nick's Assassins without their Sneaky Nick's Assassin.
It's like
I don't know how that works.
It was like in Korean Dodo when NQO or 10QO, whatever QO.
It loses
or 5NQO.
Yeah,
that was it. 5NQO.
That was it. The last roster change I want to mention, though, this is a good one. We're going to take a break and then come back and talk about the patch. Arzart retires, but guess who's taking his place? Our good buddy PGG. He's making a comeback, and I, for one, am damn excited. I like watching PGG. He's a fun fella.
He is nothing if not a character.
Absolutely.
PGG on Moscow 5. When Moscow 5 announced they're coming back to Dota 2, everyone was disappointed that PGG wasn't on there.
Right.
Yep.
So it's just perfect.
Yeah, he's back, and he's ready to play Enigma.
Getting the band back together.
His Team Relax was picked up by Hellraisers.
Oh, right, yeah. That one actually threw me for a loop. The first time I cast it, I was like, Team HR, who the hell are these guys?
Artstyle and Dread on right now.
Yeah.
Officially the clowniest team in Dota, I would say. You have Dread.
Any team with Dread. Last season in Starlighter, they were doing all sorts of weird shit. Aggro Axe, tri-lanes, and just all sorts of
that was legit.
Shenanigans. Some games it was legit. Other games it was like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Oh, God, and they have Artstyle, too. Artstyle playing his first official game of Dota in nearly 22 months the other day in Starladder. I posted that on
Yeah.
Twitter. He had played some small lands that were like 3 good teams and like 10 not that good teams
They got kind
in
of
between, but this is the first time in nearly 2 years he's involved in a like high tier quality competition. And he looked a little rusty, I'll be honest. He had 9 deaths on Leshrac in like 20 minutes. But
That's pretty rusty.
that's a rough hero to your comeback. They give him Lesh. It's like
yeah, it's tough. But
not the easiest hero.
Artstyle known for his unconventional strategies, his aggressive play. So it works right into that Hellraiser strategy with
should be interesting.
Dread and Aloha Dance and Yoki.
I'm looking forward to it. So, all right, we'll have a break. It's the end of part 1. We're going to come back and talk the patch, and then we'll get into a little stat stuff. We got a little stats special for you guys to close this episode. So stick with us. We'll be back after this break.